Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our round three of our Legacy Live event we like to do every other Tuesday. I'm the one and only Oliver V. Above me is the illustrious Beyond Sadistic, who's been with me these last two matches, and we've been having a pretty good time. Corey, of course, stomped me in the first round. I was luckily able to cheese through that second match, and we're about to have the rubber match to see exactly who's going to leave tonight with the coveted trophy. Beyond Sadistic, you got a little bit of a spicy brew. Well, not really a brew, but a real spicy list that I'm quite in love with. Let's save that one for second, though, just because I think that's the real special one for us to talk about. Me today, for this last round, I brought my favorite deck, right? If there's one thing I'm known for on this Discord, it is Bant Infect. That is my thing. That is what I rode throughout one of our seasons, just constantly playing with it. And it's my baby. I love it quite a lot. Uh, I don't know. There's not really much to say about this list. For those who know, I am a signed card head. Like that's what I love about this deck. And
Right.
unfortunately, I have to say that it is no longer fully signed mainboard because of these mainboard prismatic endings that have been absolute gas ever since Modern Horizons 2 came out. Um, this sideboard plan is a little different than what kind of the real thing that you would be doing online right now.
Yep.
Just because if it when this with this Delver meta game, like you need 7 cards dedicated to the Delver matchup, like low key, like 2 or 3 Uros and 3 Endurances and Carpet of Flowers. We did not go with that today. Went with a more, open metagame sort of sideboard. Also,
Right.
one that's a lot better against control variants, but I'm really loving it. It's a lot of fun. Corey, I mean, you're also an infect head. Anyone on the Discord knows that you do have the Phyrexian symbol as your symbol next to your name.
I
You
do.
got anything to say about this infect list?
So I have not played Infect in about a year. I kind of put it down once we when the server kind of switched phases, um, and was started brewing different stuff. I picked up ninjas. I picked up Maverick, that kind of stuff. I really love the fair matchup type decks. I've played Infect for a long time, so I've not been able to play with prismatic endings or endurance. However, I think it's actually a pretty hot addition. Prismatic ending is such a ubiquitously amazing card that I think it goes very well in a deck like Infect. It's very easy to be able to cast that with 3 colors. Teferi in the sideboard has always been a great addition. Oliver's been a champion for Absolute Law. I also play Absolute Law in my sideboard. Meekstone I haven't played in a long time, but the deck itself is just very good at doing what it does, and the sideboard plan is very wide open. So I like this list a lot. I'm a huge fan of it. So, however,
Well,
oh, go ahead.
no. I was just going to say this list is boring compared to what we're about to look at. We're about to see. Flip it on over. Let's show the people this absolute pile, this beautiful thing.
So I am a huge fan of Madness, and now that we actually have a real Madness Legacy deck, I had to sleeve it up. So my local meta, I decided that I was going to build or start pushing Modern. I got some other people to build Modern, and one of the ways, like I said earlier, is I love these transformational type decks. So what I did is I actually put together a Modern list that is a mono red, which Saffron Olive built as a budget wise. It also can transform into a Gruul, like a more stronger modern, with the feasting Troll King build with Venge Vines. And then I had to have a legacy version, so I put together Jund Madvine. This is very similar to Eli Cassis's deck that Eli Cassis ran. His sideboard is a lot different than mine. I built my sideboard more so with what I would see in my local meta. I am a huge fan of Bazaar Aggro and Vintage, and this deck feels just like that. If you've had Bazaar a Baghdad in this deck, it would feel very similar. You are able to do those super fast, busted, hollow ones. Venge Vines, Once Upon a Time gives you the ability to, just like in the Vintage deck, it gives you that card selection more so that extends your hand that allows you to do that. I'm on 1 Gamble and 2 Ox of Agonis. I love Ox of Agonis. where there are some decks that are now playing 2 gambles and 1 ox. I'm on 15 lands instead of 14. So a little bit different, and it's more so just my personal preference. But Basking Rootwalla and Blazing Rootwalla, man, there's just awesome. And you being able to discard a bunch of cards, play a hollow one, and if those cards discarded are Blazing Rootwalla and Basking Rootwalla, that you get to also trigger your Vengevine is just super good. So
It's amazing. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say I'm also on 2 angers instead of 3, but Blazing or Burning Inquiry is one of Presby OTW's favorite cards. um, I got a troll. He hates that card. So this just does everything that I want to be doing. So
It turns
Burning,
out Burning Creek is basically a hymn to Turok. That's also good for you half the time. Like,
correct.
let's hit those 3 lands out of hand. A lot of us lived through that modern era where the Hollow One deck was the hotness with the Goblin Lores and the Burning Inquiries, and yeah, I've lost many a games to Burning Inquiry hitting the wrong cards out of my hand.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just it allows you to put your game plan into motion. I mean, if you imagine if your Hymn to Torok allowed you to discard cards along with your opponent, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, I'm really excited. I have very few reps with this just because it's something that I literally just put together. But I've played Vintage Bazaar. The modern deck is a ton of fun, and Blue Green Madness is something that I play in pre-modern. So we should do well. So I'm excited for it, guys.
I mean, this is honestly the list that I'm absolutely terrified of, to be honest. And it really is amazing how much more consistent that list has gotten. I mean, it makes sense, right? When you suddenly put the extra root wall, is how much more consistent you are at being able to actually make the Vengevines do the turn one, put 8 power in play type plan, right?
Right?
But it's so incredibly explosive. And the one other thing that I know a lot of people talk about is graveyard hate really isn't the answer.
No.
Like, because you want to know what? Sure, I can stop the Vengevines with some graveyard hate, but Rest in Peace is going to come down a turn too late half the time. And Surgical, sure, I waste a card and then I still just lose to these the Root Wallas, because go figure that, especially the red one,
Yeah.
that can really turn into a Delver incredibly quickly in terms of how much it's just clocking you by itself. But
Yeah.
for me, with my game plan, I am back on a Force of Will deck, right? That's my training wheels. That's what I'm all about. That's my comfort zone. I am going to be forcing that Lion's Eye Diamonds so fast.
Yep.
Give me that thing on the stack, and if I can get rid of it, I will.
Yeah. And Rugger, I totally agree. Eight Walla is absolute awesome sauce. The fact that they gave us another root walla, they love us. They absolutely love us. So
I love someone. Clearly not me though. We'll see the way this goes. You want to do? Oh, actually, first I guess we got to see who's going first, don't we?
yeah.
You want to call it odd even?
I'll do odd.
Odd sounds good. Here's the roll. 6.
Ooh,
I'll take that play. That's
that
huge.
is huge, actually.
1, 2, or 3 on top.
You can put 2 on top. How about yourself?
2 on top. I will do the one on your right on top.
Okay.
All right, let's find those good sevens. So I really cannot afford to be taking a grind hand uh, with this deck, especially as I'm going down to my when I'm seeing this 7. Ooh, this is interesting though. So this deck, or I'm sorry, this hand is relatively good actually. It is not amazing in terms of how quickly it can pressure. However, what I can do with it, I have Sylvan Library, which is a little bit, which is basically a dead card in this matchup. But the other 6 is pretty fantastic. I can go turn 1 Noble into Blade 8 with Daze backup, into Blade Agent. If I don't Daze on that first turn, I can Wasteland a Mana Source as well. And then I have Invigorate, and hopefully we can chain together an additional pump spell off the top and just go for it. This is absolutely going to keep, even with this Sylvan Library, a relatively dead card in the hand.
Rugger says lately, Big Game Hunter has been a fun sideboard card too. Removal is varied. Bone Shards, Lightning Axe, Firestorm, Run Afoul. Nice to have options. I agree. I'm on 1 Bone Shards on mine. Lightning Axe, I actually am not running, but Firestorm I am, and Run Afoul. I love both of those a ton. So, my 7 is actually kind of interesting here. So, we have a Taiga and a Bayou, and we also have a Mountain. However, we do have 1 Hollow One, 2 Faithless Lootings, and a Once Upon a Time. So
Oh,
this is one of those that I'm actually going to keep because of the fact that I have the ability to draw cards. Um, I'm going to Once Upon a Time right away. Um, more than likely to try and draw the days or to stop that selection, which means it'll open me up for the Faithless Looting. But even if I do eat a daze on the Faithless Looting, I can still flash it back. And then it gives, I do have a basic mana source that Oliver will not be able to take out with Wasteland. It's a little bit slow, but if I am able to draw the correct cards, I may be able to turn this around rather quickly. So I am actually going to keep this one.
The thing that's so great about that hand too is right, Faithless Looting a lot of time with that deck, you don't actually want to play it on turn one because of its interaction with Hollow One, right?
Correct.
Where you want to be playing it on turn two with another mana source for you to jam the Hollow One, but you can actually spend that turn one Faithless Looting because you have access to the second
Second
one.
one, exactly.
Yeah, that
Yep.
seems pretty fantastic actually. I am good to go with this.
Hmm.
We'll go ahead and go with Windswept Heath, fetch immediately, go and get a tropical island, and play out Noble Hierarch.
Yep.
And I will go ahead and pass over to you.
So we'll draw for turn. We drew a Putrid Imp, which is kind of an interesting card.
Ooh.
We definitely want to have a Putrid Imp. That's a good. It gives us the ability to have a blocker. In once we know that our opponent's on Infect, that can be really key for us to be able to have that. However, we are going to play. We are going to put our mountain down, and then we're going to cast our Once Upon a Time.
We're not at all going to go off the days there.
So
That results.
okay, so Once Upon a Time is going to resolve. We're going to look at the top 5 cards of our library. So we got a Burning Inquiry, 2 Blazing Rootwallas, a Vengevine, and a 2 Burning Inquiries, a Vengevine and a Blazing Rootwalla. So the Blazing Rootwalla gives us a really quick threat that we can cast on the Vengevine. So by next turn, if we take the Vengevine, it's kind of a tricky one. This
So
at
it's
least
interesting. You can be greedy and take the Vengevine, and then if off these next 2 Faithless Lootings you find another Walla,
Rootwalla, yeah,
then you're able to next turn go Hollow
Blazing,
One, Root Walla, and Vengevine, and just clock in,
right.
which might be right. Or you can play it safe and just take a Root Walla here, right?
So and that's really what it boils down to. I really have no idea what my opponent's on with them playing a noble. Infect isn't played a whole lot, so honestly, the last thing that I'm probably putting my opponent on is Infect right now. I mean, granted, it's still an option. Me knowing Oliver, I know he's on Infect, but
100%.
I actually think I'm gonna take a Blazing Rootwalla here just to be on the safe side. So that way, because of the fact that I don't know what he's on, I don't want to try and be too greedy, especially when all I have in my hand are really draw spells. So we played our mountain. We are going to play a Faithless Looting though.
See, now this is difficult for me. The Wasteland has already been essentially turned off for this next turn. Um, at the same time, I do want to be spending this days on because it is only the looting that's coming down. I can also spend it on a Madness Threat if it's coming down, although it would only be a Root Walla, which I'm not terribly concerned about at the moment.
Right.
I think I let this resolve.
Okay. So
And yeah,
yeah, Faithless Looting is going to resolve. Then we're going to draw 2 cards. We draw a Hollow One, a Badlands. So not
interesting.
exactly what we wanted to. So that's kind of bad for us because of the fact that we don't really want to be discarding our Rootwalla right now because we cannot cast our Hollow One. I'd rather be able to discard it and account for the discard to be able to cast a Hollow One also. But then again, we don't know our opponent has days either. So with us having a Bayou, and us drawing the Badlands, the Bayou is definitely going to be one of the cards I pitch. Just because I'd rather keep my red sources, and now I have all my colors of mana. So I am going to discard the Bayou and the Rootwalla. I don't have the Vengevine, but I am going to try and attempt to cast the Rootwalla here.
Yeah, the Root Walla is fine.
Okay. So we do have a threat. We cannot cast a hollow one. We did not discard enough. But so we'll pass turn.
The reason I feel okay not fighting over this Root Walla is because we're expecting more to come out of this deck. If this is the initial turn one play, I know that there's a lot more coming at me at this moment. I also have a Blighted Agent, Noble, and Invigorate, so I feel relatively good.
Right.
We drew Force of Will, which is huge, and
Yep.
that makes me very. This is kind of one of the reasons that we don't spend days there. Is if we are able to rip Force of Will, then the Force of Will is still going to be live. I will go ahead and spend send out the Wasteland. I am actually going to keep the Wasteland up.
Hmm.
Actually, hmm, no, we won't. We'll keep Noble Hierarch up, and go and send out the Blade Agent. So right now we have a 3 turn or I'm sorry. Yeah, we have a 4 turn clock.
Right.
But if we chain other pump spell, then we are going to be able to convert it immediately. And I'll pass over to you.
So right now we know exactly what our opponent's on. So we know we have to be faster, or we have to find some way to be able to get rid of that blighted agent, which we really don't have a lot main deck to be able to do that. Sideboard wise, we have tons and tons of answers, which is great. But unfortunately, it's just really not going to do us much here. So
Oh
we
no, it is a race or nothing.
this point, this is exactly what we're on, because our opponent's got 4 unknown cards in hand. The texture of what they could have is just huge. We could be dead next turn, and we can't block that creature. So we'll untap, we'll draw for turn. Um, we did absolutely draw another threat. So we drew another root walla, which is great because that opens up our next turn to be able to do what we would like. Um, we're definitely going to go to combat right now. So this is always the hard part with these kinds of decks: is do you try to hope that you are able to discard a Vengevine and go really big? Um, but we know our opponent's got permission in hand, or I'm sorry, we know our opponent has permission in their deck. So it kind of puts us in a precarious spot of, do we do this now, or do we get in our little dings when we can to try and hope to set up for something later? Um, I think we absolutely do. I think we I think we I think we don't go to combat. I think we actually try to be greedy here. So um, we're gonna play our Badlands, and we're gonna tap our mountain, and we're gonna cast our another Faithless Looting.
So this is where things get interesting for me, where we still aren't seeing an explode. A Faithless Looting isn't what we would normally lead off on. Um, this does tell me that we're running out of discard outlets. I kind of want to force this, especially because I have the Wasteland. So now that this dual land has come down, I don't have to worry about Faithless Looting being flashbacked on this next turn. I am going to force here. We're going to force Pitch Days.
Okay, so Faithless Looting is going to eat a force, and we're kind of okay with that, because this gives us the backup for us to be able to now um, we can now go to uh, combat. We don't have a means to attack with a Vengevine, so we'll go to combat and we'll attack for 1.
And I'll take it.
Yeah, so that'll put you to 17. And then now we're gonna tap. We're gonna cast our Putrid Imp,
Hmm.
and we're gonna discard a Basking Root Walla, which will cast.
Ooh, okay. Yep.
We're gonna
That's good.
we're gonna discard a Taiga. Um, and then we're gonna discard a Hollow One so we can cast a Hollow One.
Yep. And so this is the force of will being punished, essentially. Is we're kind of doing it with the hope of being able to just stymie all of the discard outs. Um, the nice thing is that there's only a single hollow one left at this point. However, we do the pressure is definitely on us at this point. I'm gonna go to my turn.
Mm-hmm.
I'll draw. So I have a choice here. I draw brainstorm. I can either spend the brainstorm right now and basically be looking for the piece to go ahead and combo with the Invigorate and just win right now at the moment. I can also jam the Sylvan Library and, in essence, be looking even deeper in the next 2 turns. I'm not going to die on this turn. I'm at 17 life, and you are Hellbent at this point, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Um, yeah, what we're gonna do is we'll fire off the Wasteland on the dual land,
Hmm.
jam out the Sylvan Library, and swing Blade Agent, Exalted Trigger, hit you for 2.
Yep. No. Ooh, infect. I got to turn on the infect counters.
Hit that button. This see, look how prepared we are. Look at all this. We even had the Phyrexian symbol ready for y'all.
So I will go to 2.
In theory, I should be spending this Invigorate actually, because I guess it doesn't actually matter what anything else is, but we walked past that already. That's on me.
Okay.
And past you.
All right. So we are we are actually feel a little bit better because we know our opponent didn't actually use pump spell, so we're not dead. They do have 2 cards in hand. We're not really sure what those 2 cards are, but us being able to pressure with life next turn, our opponent is tapped out, so we're going to be able to get in for some damage, which is going to kind of help stifle their ability to use their Sylvan Library. So we're going to draw for turn. Um, we did draw a threat. It's not the greatest thing that we can do, but at least it gives us a play after combat. So we're gonna go. Let's see. We have threshold, don't we? Yeah. Yeah, we definitely have threshold. So we're gonna go to combat. We can swing with everything right now. So we can't block the blighted agent anyway. So we're gonna go to combat and we're gonna attack with everything. And we are gonna pump.
That is Putrid Imp is 2 power now, right?
Yeah, Putrid Imp's 2. Blazing Root Walla we did pump once, so that's gonna be 3. That's 5. That's 9, and that's gonna be 10 damage coming at you.
That is quite a lot. Oh my goodness, I always forget that Blazing Root Wallet is +2/+0 for 1. That is so good. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that sounds good. You hit me for 10.
Yep. So we're going to now discard Blazing Root Walla to Putrid Imp, which we will then cast. So
Right.
we also have another untapped creature just in case, and then we'll pass turn. So
Perfect. So at this point, I really do need to find other pump spell. Noble and Pendlehaven do not cut it, so it does need to be Invigorate, Scale Up, Become Immense, Berserks. Uh, Vines of Vastwood, if we find it off of Sylvan Library, is okay. Unfortunately, if we don't hit land drop with Sylvan Library, Brainstorm into Vines of Vastwood will not do it for us. So we'll go ahead and draw. Oh, we see 3 of do nothings. Because we have this brainstorm that we're looking deeper, I'm going to be taking 2. So we'll go down to 3 life. I'll go ahead and brainstorm here.
okay,
So this is the moment that we need one of those bottom 2 cards to be the 3 invigorates, scale up, 2 berserks, 1 become immense, or luckily because we hit a land drop here, one of the 2 vines of vastwoods. So that is what we are looking for. That's the known card. 2 days, 3 spell pierce, and that's going to be all that she wrote.
yeah,
So we are. Hmm, we do have to think here for a moment. We can ditch the spell pierce and we can ditch the Savannah.
right.
We, in theory, could have survived if we had kept the Sylvan, kept ourselves from dying on the Sylvan Library. We'll play this out. We'll play out Glistener
Gives you a blocker, absolutely.
but we are unfortunately dead because of that second Root Walla.
Yep,
And we'll swing, Invigorate Pump, get you to 8, and then we die.
we die. Yep,
GG.
GG's.
See how deep we were to other pump spell. Ooh, we had a ways to go before we were finding anything.
Yeah, and I was
Unfortunate, but that's kind of the way she goes.
yeah, but this just goes to show also how explosive the madness deck can really be. Even though we were able to force our opponent to put them in a position where they had to use permission. But us being able to put just more and more threats into play that quickly, the Putrid was really that it was a little bit of a feel bad to discard a hollow one to cast another hollow one, but it still was enough. Just a 4/4 that you're able to cast for free is pretty. That's a pretty big boy. So
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Putrid Imp itself put a ton of power in play if you think about it like that.
yeah,
What did I do with my box? Oh, there we go. Sweet. Should we jump over to sideboarding quick?
yeah, definitely. Why don't we talk about your sideboard here? Oops.
So I have 2 Endurances, 2 Swords to Plowshares, 1 Meek Stone, 1 Teferi Time Raveler, Rest in Peace, Force of Vigor, Veil of Summer, Sylvan Library, and Flusterstorms. And the truth of the matter is, none of these cards are really fantastic. I will be bringing in Endurances just because they are a little bit of a free roll, because Spell Pierces are not fantastic in this matchup and something that I am willing to lose. Um, Rest in Peace, kind of like, I mean, we previously discussed just how little the graveyard height actually does. Endurances are basically a way that I can get blockers in if needed. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's a little bit more of a free roll for me to be able to do that. Um, the rest in peace can just come down too late. And again, also it only really interacts with the Vengevines or the Oxyvagonuses.
Yep.
Meekstone, unfortunately, only stops the big threats. And as we saw, the root I will lose and die to the root Walla plan if that is left unchecked. There is the potential of bringing in swords as well. I will be bringing in swords over the 2 prismatic endings just because I'm able to hit the Vengevine and the Hollow One, which are the real threats that I care about a lot more. That's just also a pretty easy free roll up. The real issue is I do want to be taking out the Sylvan Library. And so that's kind of the question of what the last card is. I might actually be keeping in 1 prismatic ending, to be honest. Let's see what we're gonna do. But yeah, that is my thought process at the moment.
Okay. So switching over to mine. So um, I I play against I play against uh, questing beasts and Mother of Ruins, Giver of Ruins. So my sideboard has Flaring Pains in there. Um, uh, Thought or Leyline of the Voids. Those are definitely not going to be coming in. I do run Firestorms in my deck, which Firestorm is an absolute fantastic card in terms of removal. I am on one Bone Shards, 2 Run of Fowls, and 2 Ancient Grudges as well, plus a Pithing Needle. I think the Firestorms are pretty much just like a home run. Me to be able to discard cards at instant speed to be able to remove creatures is a big deal. Bone Shards also allows me to discard cards. So to destroy a creature and or a planeswalker as well. I know there are some infect players run to fairies to be able to stop instant speed interactions against themselves. So I think those are really good plays. Ancient Grudge here, not too worried about. Run of Foul can definitely be a card that I play against like an Inkmoth Nexus. But I think I'm actually going to leave them out for this match, and I'm just going to go with the 3 Firestorms and the 1 Bone Shards, to be totally honest.
I can absolutely respect that. Uh, and what I'm actually doing is I'm taking out 2 Spell Pierces, Sylvan Library, and a Crop Rotation. Crop Rotation, honestly, there's part of me that even wants to be going down an Inkmoth Nexus a little bit. There's a lot of what we do in combo matchups, but because I know how much of the removal game plan you are able to juke into, namely the Firestorm specifically, that is why we're actually going to be going ahead and keeping those Inkmoths in.
Right.
Just so I can have additional threats afterwards. It's just that the crop rotation plan isn't exactly what I need. So we are keeping in the prismatic endings essentially just try to stymie a single like 1 or 2 root walls if it is coming down to a race and potentially keep ourselves completely dying to that.
Right.
But yeah, we're gonna have to see how this game 2 goes.
Yeah, Grateful Head and Tire Bulge, thank you so much for the follows. Welcome in. In terms of sideboard plan, what I'm gonna be taking out, um, I've got 4 cards that I need to make space for. Um, I have a lot of discard outlet, and the Anji's Ravagers. I think I actually might cut. I really want to keep the Angers. They're just allow me to be extremely explosive. I think out of my 4 cards, I'm going to cut 2 of the Ravagers, and I think I'm going to cut the Ox because I ultimately think we have to go as fast as possible, and I really think That
Ox
give
is a lot more of a grind card for you.
Yeah, the Ravagers are. I mean, I like the Ravagers, but Putrid Imp also allows me to discard cards. I'm not so much discarding my entire hand. Yes, the Ravagers allow me to draw cards, but um, maybe I cut one once upon a time and keep a Ravager in, or so I'm on 3 instead of just down to 2. I think that sounds a little bit better.
Yeah, that seems good.
Though once upon a
I think
time
once
just
upon a
allow me to
times are
be.
pretty easy.
Yeah, it's a flex spot. I mean, it really is. Whatever whatever my hand is weak to, it allows me to be able to pick that back up on with off the once upon a time. So,
Perfect.
you can put
Perfect.
1 on top.
1 on top. Sweet. And I will take that play, needless to say. We're gonna
Uh,
have to see what we're able to get. One,
eh,
two, three, four, five. Again, we are looking for honestly kind of that same hand that we had last time. Um, Noble Hierarch start is incredibly important. Ooh, this is not going to do it for us. Windswept Heath, Pendlehaven, Tropical Island, Days, Berserk, Vines of Vastwood, and Tropical Island.
yeah.
So again, this is not a fast game plan at all. We are taking that free mall. Too many lands and no infect threat.
Do you want 1, 2, or 3 on top?
I will put 2 on top for you.
All right. So let's see what my opening 7 looks like here. Um, well, we've got an interesting hand, but we really don't have any way to get it into our graveyard. So we've got a mountain and a flooded and 2 wooded foothills, which are decent. And we've got a Vengevine, we've got a Hollow One, we've got a Ravager, and we've got a Basking Rootwalla. However, we have 0 ways to be able to put these in our graveyard with this hand.
That seems like an easy mall, right?
Easy mull. This is in any other deck. Would be a fantastic. You've got threats. You can cast your threats. I can't cast a Ravager right away. Being able to discard it would just be so much better. So if we had an LED in that hand, that would have been bonkers. Prez says, "Oh my goodness, we have window. We get to spray. Nice, Prez.
We have a
Oliver,
window in the weather and can be doing herbicide up north in Alberta, Canada.
that's right. You can put 1 on top.
1 sounds good. Oh no! This is kind of the complete opposite. We have a no lander.
Oh no.
Honestly, not even that great of a no lander, but we get to easy put that back. You know what I mean? Not waste any mental energy on it whatsoever. We'll put middle on top for you.
Middle on top. All right. So hopefully we get a little bit better of a opening hand here. It's 2, 3. That's our 7. So let's see. This is considerably better. So we do have a Once Upon a Time and a Vengevine. We do have a Putrid Imp. We have a Badlands. However, we know our opponent's on Wastelands. That's a little bit of a feel bad, but we do have Once Upon a Time to be able to get a land off the top if we need. We have a Burning Inquiry, a Hollow One, a Blazing Root Wall. So we are absolutely going to keep this.
Oh, that's a banger. That seems fantastic.
Yeah.
1, 2, or 3. The question is, what are you putting back for that?
Well, that's the tough part. You can put 3 on top.
3 on top sounds good.
Prez, I was actually just telling everybody here how much Burning Inquiry is your favorite card.
It's gonna be your new Discord graphic, right? It's just gonna be Burning Inquiry.
Man, this is a really tough putback because we really want to be able to use Once Upon a Time to be able to get ourselves another land card. Specifically a mountain. We are on 3 basics instead of 2, which a lot of the other builds are on. Really don't want to get rid of the Burning Inquirer. I don't want to get rid of the Vengevine because we will actually be able to cast the Vengevine. Man, this is actually really tough. I think I get rid of the Putrid Imp, to be totally honest. I don't know. Actually, you know what? That's not true. I don't want to put any of them back, Oliver. I want all of them. I think, you know what? I actually, as weird as it sounds, I actually think I put the Once Upon a Time back.
Seems fine.
Yeah, I think I put Once Upon a Time back. Grateful Head says put Inquiry back. That makes sense too. That actually makes sense too. However, that allows me to get stuff out of my opponent. No, that gives you the Vine and the Hollow One. All right, we'll put So if I put, you're saying if I put back the Once Upon a Time, it gives me the Vine in the Hollywood. I would think I would actually keep the Inquiry because it gives me. Seems reasonable to put Once Upon a Time though. Yeah, I think I'm going to.
All right, we are keeping this fiver.
All right.
All right, good to go.
Yes, sir. And I do get a draw phase also because Oliver's on the play. So
I'm gonna go Trop and Glycerol and pass to
perfect.
you.
We will draw for turn. So we actually have a really interesting thing we can do here. We can cast our Putrid Imp, which cannot get, well, sorry, meant to say Imp gives you the turn one, dump your hand, right? That's exactly why I'm keeping the Imp, yeah. And that's why, this gives me the ability to do exactly what I want right now. So if I drop the Badlands and I cast a Putrid Imp, so Putrid Imp's on the stack.
Future Dimps on the stack.
Yep.
Days.
Yeah. All right, so the opponent dazes this. However, we do have Burning Inquiry also, so we
Yeah, you
will
have that backup. That Putrid Imp seemed amazingly good, right?
yep,
Like,
make your opponent have it, right? And we'll pass turn.
oh, 100%. I will draw. I will play Tropical Islands and play Brainstorm.
Okay, that will resolve. So now the only feel bad here is going to be if our opponent has permission backup for our Burning Inquiry.
That would be good, wouldn't it?
It would.
Um,
But they don't know that we have a Burning Inquiry.
what 2 do we put on top?
I agree, Prez. There's probably a world where I save and wait. I keep the Once Upon a Time. I put the Burning Inquiry back,
Really
and
matter.
then I Once Upon a Time for a second land and wait to cast Putrid Imp to get around days. But
I will swing for 1.
no
I think
blocks.
with you having the Burning Inquiry, I think it's fine for you to do that.
I think so. No blocks, no effects.
And no, nothing on my side either.
All right.
And yeah, your go.
All right. So untap, we'll draw for turn. We did not draw another land. So we did draw another Basking Root Walla, however. So we will cast our Burning Inquiry.
Days.
No shit. All right. Another card goes to days. So we will pass turn.
We're gonna get there the old-fashioned way, slowly but surely. Wooded Foothills, swing with Glistener Elf,
No effects. No blocks.
and pass to you.
All right. So we're at 2 Infect now. So any one of our discard outlets off the top will pretty much do this for us. So we'll draw for turn. So we'll cast a Putrid Imp.
No! Yeah, that happens.
All
Oh,
right.
that's so good.
So we're going to discard our Vengevine to our Putrid Imp. We're going to discard a Blazing Root Wall and cast it. Discard a Basking Root Walla,
Trigger.
cast it.
Yep.
Trigger Vengevine.
Yep.
Discard Basking Root Walla. Discard or cast Hollow One.
Yep.
Go to combat. Swing for 4.
Take it.
All right.
Holy moly.
And Oliver,
Holy moly.
we will pass turn to you, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's so kind of you. Yeah,
Pretty
fetch
good
Wooded
turn.
Foothills.
I agree. Yes, that's exactly what I want you to do. Fetch all of the Wooded Foothills away.
Ooh. All right. So, my dead next turn. 3 narrow threshold. All right. So 8 off of the big guys, 3 off off the one root walla, 11.
It's close.
I'm not quite dead.
You have one turn
So
after
I
this.
do need to hit other. Okay. We have a plan. We have a plan, y'all.
He's got a Wrath of God in hand, so.
Oh God, wouldn't that be good? I'll go ahead and draw.
Mm-hmm.
I was really hoping in that double days plan was going to be enough to get there.
The problem is I've sown many enablers, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I will draw. I'll play Tropical Island.
Yes, sir.
I'll play Blade Agent,
Yes, sir.
and I'll pass to you.
All right. So we'll go to untap. We'll draw for
Mhm.
turn. It really doesn't matter what we drew. However, we did draw a Wooded Foothills, which gives us another mana source, so we can pump. We can choose which way we pump now.
Yeah.
So we'll fetch. It just gives us
Yep.
another card towards Threshold. It really doesn't matter mana wise what we get. However, we are going to go and get a Taiga. That way we can change, we can pump whichever creature we would like. This also, if Oliver does draw a Wasteland, gives us another land in our graveyard for Threshold. And we are going to go to combat, and we are going to swing with everything, Oliver.
I will block Listener Elf on the Vengevine. Or I'm the hollow one, I guess. It's technically correct.
Okay. And then we
You like
will.
to pump something.
Yes, we. You can only do these once, so
Thank goodness.
it really
Holy
doesn't
moly, that'd be
matter.
nuts.
So we are just going to pump the Blazing Root Walla. And then you said the hollow one.
Yeah, the hollow one.
So
So
hollow one will get a -1/-1 counter.
5, 8, 10 damage to me.
Yeah. Yeah. 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You are correct. So you're at
Two
5.
cards. Two cards in hand are Berserk and Become Immense. We got there, baby. Swing.
Yep.
Become Immense. Delving away 5. Berserk.
Yep. You got it.
Ooh.
So if we were
Finding the creature to block or finding the additional creature was also very, very good there in that I wanted to either hit other land or spell on that turn. Basically anything to get into graveyard to get the single to basically make it so I can do Become Immense Berserk on the following turn.
Yeah, and honestly, your 2 days hand is what saved you. If you would have,
Oh,
if you wouldn't have stopped me, you wouldn't have been able to draw your outs. So
oh, absolutely not.
absolutely
That would
agree.
have been completely terrible. The worst part is now that we're on the draw, I would love to be able to take out dazes. I don't actually think I'm able to. Um
I run such a narrow margin. I agree with you. You really can't because I want to be doing my stuff as fast as I can and as close to margin as possible.
Yeah, and the thing is, the days can still be live even when I'm on the draw, and I just don't have that many like other good cards. Spell Pierce isn't worth me having in against you. Like the
Not
days
really.
is so better than the Spell Pierce. I still have the STPs. Prismatic Ending isn't great. Rest in Peace is even worse when I'm on the draw.
Yeah, it puts you even another churn back.
We're just gonna try to force the LED. I think that's exactly what the plan is here. Force
Yeah,
the LED.
and my game plan has not changed at all. I'm not going to change from my previous plan. So
All right. Well, this is it. So again, you got that first match in Depths versus God, what did I even play? Depths versus Food
food
Chain.
chain. Yep.
I was lucky enough to cheese out with Affinity. This last game is going to be deciding who leaves tonight with the coveted Legacy Live trophy.
It's a beautiful trophy too.
It's gorgeous. It's whatever you imagine it to be.
So here we go. Let's do this. Let's For you guys that are here, let's do a prediction. Who is going to win this match? So will it
Oh,
be
it has to be you when you're on the play. I feel like it. Oh, I don't know. We'll have to see.
we'll give you guys 1 minute to vote.
I will go ahead and put that middle one on top for you. Who will
Okay.
be the one to take this coveted Legacy Live trophy?
Um
And let's see.
I'll put the one on your left on top for you.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, Prez, we got there, baby. The double days into, I mean, after the double days, I had become immense and berserk in hand, so it was just a matter of
Yeah, he
getting to the other mana.
drew the Become Immense off the top, right?
All right.
So here we go. Make sure and get your predictions in, though. All right. Opening hand, opening 7 for us is absolutely what we want to see.
Oh, I wish I could keep this. Oh, go ahead. Let's see your hand.
I have a hollow one, a Once Upon a Time, an LED, a Faithless Looting, a Verdant Catacombs, a Wooded Foothills, and a Taiga. So
This is so close.
depending on what I get off my Once Upon a Time, this is pretty damn good hand.
If we could take any one card out of this hand and turn it into a land, this would be a snap keep. We have
Absolutely.
Daze, Double Force, Noble, Threat, Brainstorm.
Yep.
But unfortunately, I am not going to try to take the gamble of having a land on top. That is not going to be the correct way to do it, despite there being Double Force of Will there, which is exactly what we need against this deck while we are on the draw. Because again, that turn one Lion's Eye Diamond, if it's able to convert into like an Angie's Ravager or any of the other like real madness threats, not just the all the root wallas, it's gonna be just game over. It'll be
Right.
lights out so quickly.
I will say that the root wallas, while being small threats, are so good. So good.
Dude, they deal tons of damage. Like
Yeah.
you
Well, those they
we
have
saw,
won
they're
me the
delvers.
games.
Yeah, they're delvers. Like when you're able to pump them and just be swinging with 3-1s or 3-3s with the other one, like it's amazing. 1, 2, or 3.
3.
3. All right, let's
Yeah.
do this.
NSC Triple Agent, welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow. So this is game 3 for the guys that have just got here. This is it for all the marbles.
For every single one of them. I will keep this, putting this away.
All right.
And you have the play.
So our absolute banger of a churn is going to start off with a Taiga and a Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time's good.
So we're going to look at the top 5 cards. Hopefully we get something very, very good here. Our Once Upon a Time actually only finds us Root Wallas. So we have a Blazing and we have a Basking Root Walla. We're going to actually take the Blazing Root Walla, I think, here. It's just easier to pump. Cheaper to pump anyway.
Yeah, it's the better of the root wallas, 100%.
Yeah, so we're just gonna pick that. So we're going to cast Lion's Eye Diamond.
I have to spend force on that.
Sure.
Which feels especially bad. I will ditch Daze with that, keeping Brainstorm in hand.
Okay. So Oliver's going to go down to 19. However, we do have a backup. We have a Faithless Looting. So
no.
And he does not have a land in play to be able to stop that with a Daze. However, we're in a really weird spot here. We can't discard enough cards to cast our hollow one, and we really don't want to give Oliver the opportunity to have a Daze up. So if he does have a force, by all means, we still have the mana in hand for us to be able to flash back Faithless Looting. But we may draw a couple of absolute bangers off the top as well, and then we may not be that bad. So we are actually going to try and win right here and cast a Faithless Looting.
It resolved.
So we'll draw 2 cards, and we draw a Vengevine and 2 Root Wallas.
Oh no!
So we are going to discard our. Yeah, that's really bad.
Oh, this is awkward. So you can discard Vengevine and Root Walla, but you want to keep both Root Wallas, low key.
I know. That's super bad. So if we would have waited, we would have been able to cast the hollow one and trigger the Vengevine.
Yep. Again, like we kind of talked about in that first game, with this deck, honestly, Faithless Looting on turn 2
is
feels
better than
like the
1.
play, right?
Yep. I think I ditch a Vengevine and I ditch a Blazing Root Walla and I cast it.
Yeah, might as well. You can clock me a little bit while you are going up.
Yeah, and then we'll pass turn.
Okay, I'll draw. I'll go Trop into Noble Hierarch and pass to you.
Sure. Untap, draw for turn. So, we're we're going to play a Wooded Foothills. We're going to go to combat and attack you.
I'll take it.
Okay.
I ain't blocking that.
All right. So you take 1. You go to 18. We'll fetch.
Yeah, sounds good.
We'll go to 19. And we're going to get a Badlands.
Okay. With what I know is in your hand from us discussing it, drawing Putrid Imp would have been very good. Because you can Putrid Imp, discard, get Hollow One and Benchvine and to another Root Walla.
So I did draw a Putrid Imp.
No.
Now I did this after combat.
Hold on. Force Pitch Brainstorm.
All right, there we go. I
know what that thing's supposed to be.
I did it after combat because that absolutely did not. I did not think that would resolve.
1 card in hand.
Yep, I'll pass turn.
Draw. Play Inkmoth Nexus. Swing for 1.
Okay, no blocks. 18. Untap. Draw for turn. So we drew a discard outlet. However, we can also cast Faithless Looting with the Verdant Catacombs in hand. This is kind of an interesting spot to be in, to be totally honest. We're going to get our Vengevine back this turn. It just depends on how we do it. You have 1 card in hand, right, Oliver?
I have a single card in hand.
Okay.
These forces have had to be very aggressive.
So I drew a Firestorm, which will take your Noble, and it allows me to discard exactly what I want. I do have to discard my land source to do that, though. Or I flashback Faithless Looting, which then I cannot actually cast the Hollow One. But it allows me, if I draw another Root Walla, then my Vengevine triggers. So I actually think, but then we're leaving an Infect threat on the board. So I actually think we have to go for this now. So if we Firestorm and discard these 2 cards, we'll cast the Blazing Root Walla.
Yep.
And then, so this will be X damage. We'll deal 1 to your Noble and 1 to you.
Okay.
So that'll put you to 16. And then we'll cast our Hollow One.
Yep.
And trigger our Vengevine.
Yep.
And then we'll attack you with our Vengevine and our Blazing Root Walla.
I'll take 5.
So that'll put you to 11, and then we'll pass turn.
So I am dead next turn. So I have Wooded Foothills in hand. We find Brainstorm, cast Brainstorm. 1, 2, 3, Invigorate and Berserk. But we can't do it. We have to put 2 cards back, and we die next turn before we can kill on the following turn. I'm at 11. 8. Yeah, with a single Root Walla pump, we will be dead. That is GG.
Absolutely.
That was a really tight match.
Yeah, it absolutely was. I'll be totally honest. And to be fair, I think the Firestorm path, even though I really would have loved to have saved that for you going to combat, it comes down to you have to do it now and win. You know,
yeah, exactly.
I against a deck, well, just like this deck, against a deck like Madness or like Infect, you really have to put pressure on your opponent when you can, and deal the damage when you can, because there we can win. Just either one of us can win next turn with just the right draw. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. We were in a rough situation on my side in terms of being on the mold of 5 and having to double force. We were just down to like nothing in hand. So we did unfortunately need to at least do 2 turns, but we kind of like we saw exactly like how close things were in terms of like if there's just another turn, I'm able to get there through invigorate berserk. You get what I mean?
yeah, absolutely.
Luckily, because that I mean that was just like a fantastic brainstorm. But no, choosing to go with the firestorm there was absolutely correct in that you're able to just kill me immediately, essentially.
Yeah,
But no, that was super tight. That was a really fun matchup, and low key, I voted right in the in the prediction in our chat.
that's
Uh,
funny.
Corey, real quick question. It's been fantastic playing with you tonight. This has been a ton of fun.
I agree.
But if I wanted to get in on the Discord, if I saw what was going on and was like, yeah, I want to get a piece of that. My COVID situation's not the best at the moment, White, or I don't want to go to my store anymore. I just want to do some webcam paper. How would I go ahead and do that?
The easiest way is to click the link. So !Discord on any of our Twitch streams will get you your very own personal link to the Magic the Gathering Paper of the Legacy Discord. Um, that would basically give you the opportunity to come and play Legacy with us over webcam. Whether you have Paper Legacy cards or not, we are proxy friendly. You can print off everything. The only rule we have with proxies is that if you're going to be playing in one of our events, use color printed proxies, and that the art is of actual artwork that was released on a card in paper. So that is the easiest way to get in. You can also hang out with us during any of these events. We have our Legacy Fight Nights. We have our Legacy Live series. We have our weekly challenges, which you can certainly join through MTG Melee. There we have monthly Legacy Leagues. However, that would require you to join the Discord, but the Legacy Leagues offers you the flexibility to play 5 to 6 matches over the course of 2 weeks and allows you to grind for points that can actually lead to you winning prizes. We do have a prize structure built over proxies, basically. We have a series of cards that every time you win an event, you get another card. We started off with Brainstorm, then it was Dark Ritual, Crop Rotation, and we just last Saturday announced at our Invitational that our next card in the series will be Lightning Bolt. So those are the easiest ways, Oliver. And I will say, I may be biased, but 2,700 people can't be all that wrong.
I think that's a really good way to put it. You know, from me, Oliver V, and this beautiful man above me, Beyond Sadistic, we hope to see you in our Discord, in our events, grinding it away. And like we like to say around here, let us be your local meta.
Absolutely, guys. You guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. Please stay safe, and we'll see you guys later on. Bye.
Take care, fam.